with the enduro, obviously now, when was the first? What was the first season you did the EWS when you started it?
I would have done it the first year in 2014.
Okay,
Yeah.
and to that, sorry, and just to go back for all the people listening and watching, um, what was the first year you rode for Yeti? Because you've been with them for a long time now.
Yeah, I think the first year I rode for them was 2011,
Okay.
and then I did 2 years of downhill with them, or no, yeah, 3 years of downhill, so 11 to 13, and then switched over to the enduro side.
So you've been with them for so long now.
Yeah.
Everybody's sort of, if you think about Richie Rude, you think about Yeti, and vice versa. If you think about a Yeti, you think about you. So um, it's pretty cool that you've been able to stick with them for so long. Um, is that something that you enjoy and what want to do? You sort of see a lot of riders, jumping around from team to team and brand to brand. Are you typically a pretty loyal person and you like to stick with somebody, like Yeti, as you have, or has it just happened that they've been a really cool sponsor and become really good friends? How has that sort of been for you?
Yeah, I feel like it's just, I think, having such a great relationship with Yeti and obviously, with my mechanic and kind of just the team that we have, I think it'd be pretty hard to leave them for sure,
Yeah.
and I think I don't know, I always like just being able to, build on kinda year after year and I guess not really having to think about, changing brands, and they've always supported me over the years, so it's yeah, it's hard for me to leave, but, I mean, as always, you think about it and maybe you think about what other teams you might race for, but, uh, yeah, I mean, it's hard to leave, the solid, group of sponsors we have and just kinda the little team and kinda, family we have, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It's if you've got a good team, which you obviously have, and a good bunch of people around you, because you spend so much time traveling and time with your teammates and
Yeah.
your mechanic and your team manager and stuff. It's not always the be all and end all to just jump ship for a bigger contract or whatever, is it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And obviously, we'll go back to the start in a moment if that's okay. But along the years
Yeah.
with Yachty, I'm sure, like with all the success that you've had and all the races and championships you've won, you must have had some teams come in and offer you a ride on their programs. Has that happened quite a lot?
I feel like it's not happened as much as I thought would, but, yeah, I've had a couple, I guess, offers over the years, and,
Okay.
yeah, sometimes they're for sure tempting, but
And is there any teams that, if Yeti's sort of said to you, "Oh, cheers, thanks a lot, Richie, for everything you've done. We've been going for so long, but we're gonna pull our sports marketing budget." Is there any sort of teams out there, whether it's downhill or enduro, that you look at and think, "Wow, I feel like I could fit in on that program as well," or "I'd like to be part of that," or "I like that bike," or anything? Is there any teams that have stood out to you over the years like that?
yeah, I think so. I mean, it's always hard to, pick one year to year. Yeah, that's tough. I'm not really sure, honestly.
Fair enough.
At the moment, I'm pretty happy with Yeti, and it's hard to look outside of that. But I guess I always look towards some of the teams that look like super dialed with just getting bikes and stuff set up, and
Okay.
so I look at those ones. But yeah, it's hard to say. I guess exactly which ones.
Yeah, sure. Um, do you, um, do you, with the Yeti program, obviously it's a really, you've got a really solid setup, but it's a little bit, I guess, to some people it looks more like a little in-house race team than some of the other programs. Um, with the program like that, and you've been working with Sean for many years as well, and Sean's, I've known Sean a long time. He's a super cool guy.
Yeah.
Um, do you get to give a lot of input in new bike design? And do they, if you say, "Oh, I think I need, this bike now to help me, win another championship, or we need to change that," is there a lot of that goes on in your program?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think after every race, we always give a bit of feedback back to the company and just kinda, I guess, the bikes and parts and everything. But
Mhm.
I think Yeti also they kinda have a lot of things dialed in, like, with just the engineers and I guess how they make their bikes, but, yeah, a lot of the input we give, I guess, goes into kind of the production, I guess, models of bikes, and we all ride the production stuff, so it's just kinda like giving feedback for that, and then, we might see that in a couple years through, I guess, the bikes that we race, so in that way, for sure. And I guess even, like, with the downhill bike, like, that was a lot of, I guess, input from us of wanting to do that, and then maybe, like, a little bit on just sizing, but, yeah, I mean, the Yeti engineers do a great job on, I think, hitting the mark usually, so, yeah, like, the trust there is, they know what they're doing, we're just giving input and they listen to it for sure.
Cool, cool. And obviously, everybody's super excited about your prototype downhill bike, and you've had some amazing results on that as well. Not even doing it full time, um, but it's a different suspension design to your enduro bike. Does it
Yeah.
obviously a downhill bike rides different to an enduro bike, but does it ride totally different, or is there a lot of characteristics that are similar with it being a Yeti?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like a whole different platform, it's the same platform as you get, like, on our e-bike, but, yeah, going from our down or from our enduro bike to our downhill bike, it's, wildly different being, mullet versus 29 and then high pivot, versus, like, the Switch Infinity. But I mean, like, I think what's been great about it is that I feel like I could just jump on the bike and it feels quite comfortable.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely, like, some things you gotta get used to, obviously, how yeah, like, the high pivot handles stuff, but, I don't know, I kinda learn quick, I guess, with that. No, it's been good, and I think yeah, like, with the enduro and the downhill, I think what Yeti kinda does good is, like, I feel like when I ride their bikes, like, I feel like they don't do anything too weird, like, there's nothing, like, I guess the bike does bad, so, like, I always feel comfortable and can kinda trust it, and that's been really good over this year with the downhill bike.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, brilliant. Um, and tell me, this is a question for me as well as I'm sure everybody else is interested. But um, does the high pivot bike does it feel and react a lot different to your Switch Infinity bike?
I mean, I think kind of the biggest thing I've, I guess, kinda seen is just, like, the enduro bike, I guess, like, carries good speed and, like, you can kinda pump stuff really well, just being that kind of platform, and, yeah, like, the downhill bike maybe don't get as much, like, I guess, like, forward drive with the high pivot, but, like, I don't know, it corners really well, like, it really handles, like, rough stuff well,
Mhm.
so you can kinda, like, almost, like, shut your brain off a bit for that stuff,
Yeah,
and just being, like, more travel than the enduro bike, you know, you have a little more freedom just to, you know, smash in this stuff, which is always great.
yeah, cool. So obviously it's when you go to a downhill race at the moment, does it feel like there's have you got a little bit less pressure, or do you put a little bit less pressure on yourself? I guess because what I'm saying is, you still, focusing on the enduro World Cup full season. When you go over to the downhill racing, is there as much? Do you put as much pressure on yourself, or do you feel a little bit more relaxed that you don't necessarily feel like you need to win those races?
Yeah, I think it goes kind of 2 ways, like, I know last year I did the 2 World Cups after the season, and that was, like, really fun because I just won the overall, and it was, like, no stress, and I could do, like, however I could do however, and I'd be, like, happy because I was there when we were racing, and so I think that was really good, just, like, yeah, I didn't care, you know, about much, and then, yeah, this year I did 2 World Cups during the season, and that was a little more stressful, just, like, not so much from, like, the racing downhill itself, it was just, like, yeah, having to worry about kind of the enduro overall season.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it's, like I think it's a stressful on the side of just, I don't know, trying to be safe during the season and, like, push hard and have fun and be competitive, but, obviously not, like, getting hurt. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like when it's not your main series, it's for sure a little bit less pressure, but I think I always put pressure on myself to perform and, I guess, be happy with my results and, you know, I don't wanna go into it and, come out of it and feeling like I could have done more effort or something where yeah.
Yeah, sure. And obviously, the the last year that you were racing downhill as your main focus, you were still junior, is if I'm not mistaken. You won that junior world title in Peter Maritzburg, and then
Yeah.
it was after that season, wasn't it, where Yeti announced that they'd be focusing on enduro and you'd be swapping from downhill to enduro. So was it 2000 and 13? Was it your first year for enduro? Did you say?
14. Yeah,
Oh,
so I did yeah,
sorry, yeah. Peter Maritzburg was 13, wasn't it?
yeah,
Mistaken
yeah.
there. And how was that for you? I mean, you smashed it at that World Championships there, and you know became world champion in downhill, which is amazing. Um,
Yeah.
did you know at that time that you were going to be doing enduro the following year, or did that come about after the season?
Yeah, it came about after the season, like, kinda late in the off season. Yeah, I didn't really thought about it at all, and I don't know, I think, like, I won junior world championships, which I guess was a big goal of mine, and some of the other races that year, I didn't, I guess, do as well as the previous. So, like, maybe I wasn't so happy with my racing then, and yeah, I think just kind of the main driver from that was, like, Jared was planning to move to enduro, and I kinda wanted to stay with him and Sean a bit, and so I think that kinda helped me, I guess, make the decision.
Okay. So there wasn't any like thoughts where, oh no, I don't want to do this. I'm gonna have to find another team, or you were pretty happy just going over and swapping over to the enduro with those guys.
Yeah, I was pretty open to it. I guess, like, yeah, I just felt kinda at home there, so I decided to make the change and see how it goes. Like, I always enjoyed riding my trail bike, so I figured it's almost, like, easier to do it then.